Hey there, BookTube. Noah. Everyone who reads it must converse. Jack the Rambling Raconteur and I have teamed up to give BookTube creators a hashtag and a challenge. This is for creators. This is for video making. And what are we talking about? I'm talking about the jonesing for Janus, or jonesing for Janus if you like the soft J. And I recommend you use the same on both J's, just for consistency. You know, it sounds right. So this is a comparative challenge, comparing different literature, different texts, different. It could be anything. Jack has an announcement video. I'll link it in the description box where he goes through some of the kind of ways you can compare different literature. It's truly open ended. I'm like Jack in a way that when I read, always I am reminded of other things that I've read or other feelings, things that the text that I'm reading right now brings up, and I might revisit those or something like that at that point. Just revisit them, find the part or the paragraph or something like that. But I'm here to give you some ideas. And Christy Louise at Dostoevsky in Space has jumped the gun. See, booktubers do this kind of thing anyways. But we're talking about doing it more intentionally. And I would love to see where this kind of thing goes. And I'm going to give some, what I think is really, really cool ideas. And I think where I'm going to get in doing these type of videos. And it'll be, kind of a series that's ongoing. Thinking about different ways to compare text. So Stephen King's Dark Tower series. I'm wearing my Dark Tower shirt here. One of the keyhole there. The Dark Tower's in the keyhole. This is the Stephen King's Dark Tower series. And I was thinking, well, you can compare that to maybe Dan Simmons' Hyperion. One is sci-fi, one is fantasy horror for sure. I mean, it wouldn't be on content like that, but Stephen King. In this series for sure, and in the Dan Simmons Hyperion Cantos, you could compare them on just a storytelling level. How the story is delivered. They're both really, really good storytellers. And when you're experiencing those texts and those stories, you know that the writer, the author that you're reading is in total command of the delivery of the story. It's a very easy story to get. It's just kind of given to you, but it's given to you when, how, where, at what pacing the author wants you to get. So I thought maybe comparing those on the basis of just storytelling is a good way to go. Jack brought up comparing authors of the same era, and I couldn't help but my Southern boy mind goes to Harper Lee, To Kill a Mockingbird, and Flannery O'Connor's The Violent Bear It Away. Both of these were published in 1960. Both of them about the South. Both of them have a young kid protagonist. And very, very, very cool to kind of compare the themes and the things going on in these books and how the South is portrayed. So that just jumped into my mind, and I couldn't help but show, again, my first edition, The Violent Bear It Away by Flannery O'Connor. Love these books, for sure. On a genre note, okay, how about comparing first contact stories? I have The Mote in God's Eye by Larry Niven and Jerry Portnell, and Contact by Carl Sagan. These are two very different stories of first contact between humans and an alien species. There's a lot of first contact stories, right? And do a comparative video exploring the different ways that first contact work out and the kind of things that are brought up, or how you thought about it, what you thought was effective or not. Just compare it any way that you can think of. So my mind also goes to something like modern psycho spiritual exploration. Okay, I got Daniel Pinchbeck's Breaking Open the Head, and this is an exploration of psychedelics and like mushrooms, LSD, things like that, in order to expand consciousness. And it's a great read. And I would say, very, very, very much worth the read if you're interested in that kind of thing. But compare it to Anthony Peake's Opening the Doors of Perception. This is exploring expanded states of consciousness through mental illnesses, like what would be classified as mental illness, schizophrenia, epilepsy, just all kinds of mental internal things that lend to a greater perception or a different perception of our world. And both of them are talking about the same subject matter from very different points of view, right? One is induced by a chemical or a substance or a plant or something like that, and one is basically classified as modern mental illness. So I kind of thought those would be very, very cool to do a comparison video on. And then, of course, won't be a surprise to anyone that follows my channel, but how about comparing maybe a more esoteric view of Christianity and Christian practice, the St. Ignatius spiritual exercises. This is a classic of esoteric Christian practice. This is just a standard for the personal Christian. And then something like modern Christian thought, the exoteric. So we have very exoteric teachings. This is James Livingston put this one together, and exploring just kind of the outer teachings of the church. And then we have a monk approaching the scripture and the Christian life very, very personally, very, very inwardly. So that would be very cool for comparison, I think. And then maybe we go to full-on comparative religion. How about, I got this Black Spine Penguin Classics edition of the Bhagavad Gita, is how it's actually pronounced. I learned that from a friend. The Bhagavad Gita here, Bhagavad Gita. This is an epic work of Hinduism, and then the Holy Fire here. This is a story of the early centuries of the Christian church in the Near East. So we have mysticism or expanded consciousness, spiritually speaking, from East and West, right? And I would love myself to see comparisons on that kind of thing. Just, there's a lot of similarities and there's some pointed differences for sure, right? So I hope I gave you guys some food for thought on this challenge. This is for creators. I want to see some good videos. It can go any number of ways, right? Compare two poets you love. Compare, Dickinson, Emily Dickinson, and, John Keats or something, just whatever. Whatever strikes you. So thank you, BookTube. Holler at me in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts about the Jonesing for Janus or Jonesing for Janus are, and we'll hash it out. See you later. Bye-bye, BookTube.